Hello Lightbenders, Bruno here from Lightbend Images and Photography. I'm a corporate headshot and portrait photographer based in Perth in Western Australia. And in recent time, I embarked on a large format photography journey. And the journey started with this old girl that one of my camera club members kind of gave to me because it was sitting in his darkroom gathering dust. And a couple of weeks after that, another one gave me a book on how to use large format photography. But from this book and this new toy that I have, it just unravels so many questions that I want answered. And so from that reason, Greg Bell, who is the most advanced large format photographer in my camera club, became a source of resource. From him, I got to know about some other photographers as well. And locally here, I have a great large format photographer named Alex Bond. And he too, I had some one-on-one session with them, and to pick his brain and so forth. And above all, I'm always asking questions, wanting to learn a little bit more. And the focusing, which is one of the hardest things to do with the large format photography, is being one of the questions that I've been asking about, because the earlier photo that I've taken, irrespective of how much I closed down my lens, I felt like the middle of the image was always soft. And so for that reason, I said there must be another technique, that would allow people to focus from near to far in some ways to get everything relatively in a sharpness that can actually extend from front to back without having to worry so much about using the aperture, to cover the depth of field. So I came across many articles, and one that made a lot of sense for me, but because it's so wordy that I got lost, is written by a gentleman. It's written by somebody named QT Luong. That's L-U-O-N-G and QT, those letters. And so I found that article very resourceful, but yet I found myself lost until about 3-4 months ago. I came across Nick Carver from Nick Carver Photography, who unraveled everything. Because now the technique that he uses is exactly what QT Luong is trying to say, but in some ways there's an extension to the technique from Nick Carver that I later discovered. But and that's what I've been using in my images right now, and I can see my results are getting better and better every time that I go out to shoot my large format photography. Point of case is this shoot that I just did. All right, I've been meaning to photograph this building for the longest time, but the weather never permits for me to be here and do the thing that I want to do. And today I say, you know what, I'm just gonna take the bullet and come and do something anyway. It's overly cast, it's cloudy, it's cold and windy, and it's a good thing as well. It's a weekday, but there aren't any cars or anybody around, so which is great for me to come and do this. So now I need to set up my composition and see what we can do. Before I do anything, I just need to level up my front and back standards in order for image plane focusing to be more efficient in giving me what I need as far as setting up my depth of field. All right. So now I just need to get my horizontal to be horizontal. Too easy. So now I'm just gonna shift to get my composition as I want it. So here we go. So I'm gonna lock that. So basically my composition is already done. I almost maxed up my front rise, and after that I just used the penning head of my tripod, to try to get my ability to be horizontal. And that's what I've done. And even though I'm shooting relatively across the plane like so, but before I apply any swing, I'm just gonna see what my bellows movements are, because if my bellow movements are very minimal, then I don't need to do a swing. That means my depth of field would be covered very easily with the apertures that I'm gonna be giving by the determination of my image plane focusing. All right, so I hope that this little cone is right in my scene here, so I can use it as my near point of focus. So unfortunately, yes, it is. Okay, so that will be my near depth of field. So and my far depth of field is gonna be the trees in the back there. That's awesome. So I don't need any swing whatsoever. So I'm gonna try to find some of the smallest writings around, so I can see if I can get those in focus. So if I can get those in focus, and I know that that aperture is gonna cover me easily. So I think I got that one there covered. That's looking okay. All right. I think I'm happy to go with that. But the look of it here, image plane focusing is giving me at least f20, but yet I push all the way up around f18 and I got everything in focus. So even though my eyes tell me that I can shoot this at f18, and I know well that image plane focusing already confirmed to me that I need to shoot this at least at f20, so I'm gonna push this all the way up to even f25, depending on what my meter tells me. Okay, so now we're gonna meter this, and the sun could come out anytime as well, and I could either wait for the sun to come out, but if it comes, it's gonna be only for a few seconds. So if that's the case, I'm gonna have to lock it in everything and maybe load my field, and I'm gonna be shooting Portra 160. I'm gonna rate that at 80, SA 80, and see how we go. So right now it's 16 bullets, and my sky is about 17, so I take that. I don't want, I'm not metering for the sky so much. And my darker area there, which are the trees in the back, falling exactly where I want them to fall. So there is no problem whatsoever. F22 and 1/3 at 1/15 of a second. Let's do this quick. All right. As you can see here, that building, I'm shooting across that building. I'm on the other side. I'm shooting diagonally to that building, but yet I didn't have to do a swing to get my plane to focus what I needed because of the placement of the building and then what's in the scene. I got a lot of tall, straight stuff. So for that reason, I did not need to find, so for that reason, I didn't have to swing. I just used plain image focusing by finding the near edge of my depth of field and my far edge of my depth of field, and image focusing gave me the minimum aperture required for me to get everything within that scene in focus. And this is how easy the image plane focusing is being, and it's been the easiest question that I was looking for. And at the same time too, image plane focusing can tell me when I need to swing my lens, and then when I swing my lens too, it's gonna tell me, hey, you know what, you have to find your new near and new far, and then you focus, and then from there I'm gonna get my aperture again to be able to cover that stuff. So it's a very, very fun stuff, you know. And but if you want to know more, I'm not the person to be able to tell you more because I'm just learning that sucker. And the person to go to, Nick Carver at Nick Carver Photography, he unraveled this thing for me in some way, so he's the man to go to. All right, I put his detail below, so you can go to his website and then see what he's got to say. If you have to do his course, and by all means, you know, hey, it's gonna benefit you. And there's a part 2 for this video as well, because there's a building just on the right hand side, about less than 100 meters away, that I photograph as well. And then that one, I think is gonna require a little bit of swing, but I need to get out there and see if swing is really required, because they're in the same position, but it's a different shape. So if you'd like to come along on my journey to see what I'm doing with that next building, by all means, you know what to do, and I look forward to seeing you there. I'm not here to create a work of art or anything. I am just a new lover of large format photography, and I feel like I'm learning something completely different, and the way to go about learning it as well is different than what I've been seeing out there. So come along the journey so I can share what I'm learning with you. Cheers.